Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and you're listening to Lotro Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in Lotro and hear Lotro Players. And this week we have with us Sanswinda,
Hello.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Guarendis,
Hello, everyone.
Krister,
Hello.
and Calabathian, who may have stepped out for a moment.
But she's really here somewhere. I was so confused Pineleaf didn't call me first.
Yeah.
I was
Sorry
surprised
about that.
too. Like, I had the hi all ready to go, and then he didn't call me first. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, yes, that's what happens when I reorder things.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, well.
That's all right. We've got lots of interesting news like that. That's unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's begin with the news for this week. Hello, Calabathian. Say hi.
Maybe.
Or not.
Oh, sorry. Is that me?
Yeah.
That is you.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was hurrying back.
Let's then head into the news for this weekend. To begin with, Lotro is we decided to extend the free stuff until August 31st, and they announced some VIP bonuses and some other things. There is a nice long post in the forums, of course, on this and at the Standing Stones game site, and we also have an article by Squirrel going over these various things. So the first thing is that the free quests, it has been extended through August 31st. It was originally due to end at May 31st, but they decided to end it at August 31st.
Which is really awesome.
Yes. And soon they'll also be having a promo code that you could redeem called in-game, and that what it'll do is give you access to all of the quest packs. And this is a coupon code that will last until August 31st. And when you do this, it will give you all of the regional quest packs, meaning the ones not associated with expansions or anything like that. So not the expansions, but all the regular quest packs. And it sounds like that the next area is scheduled to come a little bit after that, because Cordovan said that that particular date was chosen for reasons, meaning we can expect another zone to come out soon after August 31st is what I'm thinking on that, because of course we all know what's coming up in the next update, and that's the wedding update for the summer update. Now, you say, well, what about the expansion stuff? For the expansion stuff, they'll also, in addition, the following expansions will become available in the game store for 99 Lotro points each. And those are the Mines of Moria, Siege of Mirkwood, Rise of Isengard, Riders of Rohan, Helm's Deep. Why is Rise of Riders of Rohan? Yes, okay, somehow got one duplicated in there. All right, so essentially the expansions up to Helm's Deep. Oh, the instance clusters for Isengard and Riders of Rohan are also included in this. So you have the expansion port, the expansion quest for the first 5 areas, and the instance clusters for Isengard and Rohan. You'll notice this does not include the Mordor expansions, are not included in this. But anyway, you can get each those for 99 Lotro points each during this time period in there. And they are going to unlock it so that VIPs will be able to purchase these at this special price. So if you're VIP, you don't have to worry about letting your VIP expire so that you could go into these special deals in there. And also for VIPs, and this is a little interesting thing, VIPs will get access to a vendor that will grant them the following benefits once per day: 48 hours of town service items, a buff that negates item wear, and a buff that provides rapid crafting. And that's to make up for the fact that you have all these things that VIPs get free already being made a lot available to a much larger audience in there. And there was the question is how does this impact the challenge server if VIP is not required? And that was an open question he had in there. And Cordovan said that it will most likely be VIP required on the challenge server is the impression I got from there. Because, yes, we had this whole thing about, well, what about multi-boxing and stuff like that on the challenge server? We'll have to see what kind of solutions they have on that front.
But making it VIP required would kind of cut down on the multi-boxing. Although it doesn't seem to cut down on the multi-boxing in the Ettenmoor since you have to be VIP to go to the Ettenmoor, so...
That is an excellent point, judging from the groups of hunters that are all doing all the same things at the same time.
Yes.
But in the moors? You mean
Yes. And
yes.
There's have names that have boxing in them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, sometimes they provide tasty noms though, because the last one will get stuck in a tree or something, and they won't notice. But most of the time, you want to avoid them.
Oh boy, yes, that is. But anyway, so that is what we have there in all those items in there, and of course, I think the first post in response to this announcement over at the Standing Stone game site is, well, does that mean we can get refunds for all the people of us who bought it at the full price?
And of course, that question is no.
Yes.
Just think how long we've had access to it to enjoy it. It's been worth it.
Yeah, that's some of the thing is, what? Oh boy! I think it's a reason
that have nice things, guys, because you have to be jerks about it.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason why they can afford to do this is because people have already paid the full price, and so therefore they can afford to do it now. If they give all the refund, then they don't have any money left.
So this would be a great time to be recruiting your friends to play with you.
Yes, it would be that.
I agree. I have a couple friends that, with those expansion packs, that price might be interested in coming in.
Yeah, or if you're interested in a second account for whatever reason.
Right. I mean, consider it like gifting your friends something without having to spend all that money. You're getting something out of it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, more people to stare at my wonderful cosmetics.
Well, there is that. So that's the announcement on there. So as I said, you could read that either at the Standing Stone site, or you could read it at Lotro Players in Squirrel's article. And does anybody have anything else they want to say about this particular announcement?
No, I'm good.
All right. Then there was another announcement that was made that they just updated the event schedule for this year. They updated that yesterday. And what they announced there is they will be holding the Summer Festival and the Farmers Fair at the same time, but as two separate festivals. So in other words, they're not combining the festival into one festival. They will be treated as two. They'll have different wrapper quests. I know that. So they'll be treated differently on there, but they are going to be held at the same time because they needed some place in which to put them in and fit them in their schedule, because apparently the usual time for the Summer Festival has been bumped by a wedding.
Gosh,
so what I'm hearing is I'm going to be fishing for the entirety of the end of August. Because there's only two festivals that have fishing quests.
There's going to be fishing quests for the wedding. Just watch. The wedding will include fishing quests.
Oh, I think I dropped my bouquet in the water. Can you
I would
please?
prefer if the wedding had some in-league and ale association deliveries in it. That's what I would prefer.
Well, yeah, but
or free LI stuff. That would be cool. I mean,
well,
like,
somehow the wedding having in-league stuff, considering that the in-league is all about Eriador and the wedding is about Gondor.
Oh, come on. They're going to find reasons to
the
send us
Rangers.
all the way back through Eriador.
I mean,
it wouldn't
he's
be
under
the
the
first
Rangers.
time.
Have you met them? We're at least going back to Rivendell, I'm sure.
No,
he probably left something important in his library.
The In-League and the Ale Association, that's where they're actually going to throw down, is at Arwen's wedding. They're going out into Gondor. Everyone's going to get drunk at the wedding, and it'll be... they'll just start fighting, and winner take all. This is a Gondorian wedding. If there's not at least one fight, I mean...
I didn't know about that tradition at Gondorian weddings.
I didn't either. I think I might have made it up. But it sounds like something they would do. They're a martial type people. They have a fight club that we don't talk about. So, I mean...
No. I told you the first rule when I showed you. The first rule is you don't talk about it.
I didn't say where it was or who it was.
You're not supposed to talk about it at all.
But then how do we find people to fight?
Oh, boy.
See, there's this one new server that's being opened up. Oh, wait.
Hey, that's a great idea, actually. The challenge server's debut is that it's the reception after the wedding.
I get the impression that the challenge server is more likely going to be mid-June or something like that. But we'll see.
Oh.
Well, who knows when the wedding's going to start, though, because obviously the update that's going to have the Tournament of the Twins will probably be the same update where they'll be adding the cosmetics for the wedding. We don't know when the wedding itself will start, but that's...
The twins are going to be dressed for the wedding, and they're going to be fighting each other. We're all supposed to be supporting them on this server, and they're all in like their tuxedos and stuff.
Oh, that's what they're arguing about. Who looks more dapper for the wedding?
Yes.
Who
looks more heroic for the wedding?
Yeah. Which of us is the best brother at the wedding?
It's neither of you. Go home.
With that, let's then head into the Lotro Beacon, issue 162, where I would presume those are more shots of the new area.
Yes, yeah.
That would be my best guess. You can see that there's still a few points I haven't been able to hit yet in the new area. I'll have to get around to getting there. Oh, that's right. I do have that Lore Master who's at Cap who should be able to do those quests without having to worry about my recording schedule and the like. I'll think about that. But let's head to this community spotlights. Chickening Around is a long-running Lotro comic with a new chapter now available.
Yeah, and it was a great chapter, too. Although, the one before it had me just cracking up.
I'll have to remember to get that into my comics list. And Destin Gaming is a newest streamer to bring a show to Lotro Stream, and you could click for the first episode. And the Minstrel Guild of Bree is organizing Summerfest 4 on Brandywine, and you could click on the link to submit your band for the event. And Metalfest takes Well, actually, I think that probably just finished up, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Metal Fest was today. All right. That was, May 30th. Ended 5 o'clock. Yep. That's done and dusted. And Oaks brings the Sound of Music to Laurelin on June 6th. Then for the kin hall, La Tavernifel is a Siranan-based kinship based on mutual aid and progress. This kin is low pressure and accepts players of all levels. They have a kinship house, Discord, photo contests, and more. And I have a feeling it will help a lot if you speak French.
Since Siranan is the French server, yes, probably.
Most likely. Then let's head into our weekly comment. Golem's Cave wouldn't have been so bad to live in if it had more blank.
Sofa pits.
Sofa pits?
Sofas.
I was just going to say pillows because, then it would have been the sofa pits.
Mm-hmm.
I think lava lamp.
Lava lamps.
Lava lamps.
Better ambient lighting for sure.
I was thinking something along something hobbity, like pies or something.
I did actually think about pies. Pies would have also been a factor in making it more cheery.
Yeah, I think that Gollum must have been, after all his time that he was in that cave, I think he was starting to get sick of fish.
Yeah, but you think about it finally, if he could combine his passion with pies, and he could make quiche.
Anyone else have any suggestions? Of course, Travis did the inevitable suggesting fish pies. I could just imagine Gollum, famous for his tuna pot pies.
Tuna steak flambe.
Anyone else have any suggestions? Then let's over to the fan site news. And last week, we built our own giant, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Lotro Stream is your first stop to find Lotro on Twitch. And check out the recent shows by Sky, Manic, Too Old to Game, and Red Baron.
Too Old to Game is actually really fun to watch. I popped into his stream earlier in the week.
Right. And also on Twitch, Meraki plays his favorite game, Rodagador fights brigands, and Eltragon 81 quests. And over on YouTube, Trino shares some epic fails. Zogok helps the company prepare, and Renaissance Gaming discovers the cost of loyalty. And on Mixer, Gussie delivers mail and pie, and Psychosis Patient runs above level 50. 70.
But if they run faster than level 88, then they will go through time.
Yeah. Now, Travis suggests that maybe Gollum could have opened up a restaurant, while Tired Dwarf says, I want to take a step further and have Gollum on a cooking show. And now, are we talking about the same Gollum who prefers to eat things raw, though?
It's sushi.
Schmiegel's sushi, yeah.
A sushi restaurant. All right.
Tartar.
Yes. Then let's look into the screenshot of the week where Brzezinka looks fierce and menacing in this week's screenshot thanks to Ponburium for sending in this week's image. You can send your screenshot for consideration at contact@standingstonegames.com. And it looks like Brzezinka is posing before the stone trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I guess deciding, guess who? Guess what I just defeated?
I would totally send in the one of Celeborn and the rest of you guys on your horses behind him in Minas Tirith, but yeah. Every time I think I get a good one and then I forget to send it in. And then it's too late because it's like screenshot of the week, but I took it the week like 2 weeks ago.
Well,
it's lies.
It's the week as far as they're concerned.
They're not going to check up on it.
Well, it's the it's the one that they noticed in the best one they noticed during that week.
Okay. Maybe I have a chance then. I like to let go, my minions.
Let's then go and look at what's on sale this week. And Terry, what's in the store?
Let's see. Our weekly coupon gets us a 100% XP boost for an hour with coupon code 100XP now through June 4th. And Friends of Radagast get 20% off select pets and kites, select housing items, select mounts, also through June 4th.
And we know how much you love Radagast.
Right up there at the top of my favorite people list.
Yeah.
Alongside bears.
Yeah, it's alongside, or is it bears, Radagast?
Or is Radagast actually riding a Bjorning, and that's at the top of the list?
Potential spoilers, but Radagast is responsible for Bjornings, so they're kind of in the same category.
Well, there is that. Then let's head into our site news, where Squirrel had the week 21 roundup, though this was posted just before we had our last show. Some of these things are familiar in there, where they talked about the Elf Wars and on Bulwer talking about transfers partially open. And see. And Maven's coming to claim the upper world after concerning things relating to the part 2 of the secret event. The Hunter buffs with U26.1. Oh, yes, that reminded me. I was listening to Jerry's stream yesterday, and he mentioned that there is likely to be an update next week that is going to be toning down the survivability of burglars.
What?
Well,
they are
toning down the DPS, but the burglars read it as toning down the survivability.
Well, no, they're not toning down the DPS. I think they're toning down the defenses.
Well, that's even
They
worse.
already die horribly at the drop of a hat.
Except already run a hunter. I don't want to do that again.
In which case, you're dead before you have a chance to nom them half the time.
Yeah.
Yes, man, I was just actually confident to run my burglar, and now they're taking that away.
Anyway, there was, of course, a bit of reaction to this, so we'll see what actually happens when it's still in there when the patch comes. But there is an intention on having some toning down of the burglar is, I guess, the...
Okay, well then they can tone down some of these camps in Gondor where you have like 5 and 6 mobs on you.
They can tone down some of the stuff in the moors so that we can actually survive as creeps. Or maybe just tone up our creeps. It's going to be doing some toning.
Well, I have a feeling that that when it comes to PvP, they're not only thinking about the Moors, they're also thinking about a certain tournament where there won't be any creeps around.
Well, if there's a tournament coming up, then have it be server related that kind of does that, what they want on that one server rather than game wide.
That's a good point.
Well, they seem to think that they seem to be under the impression that burglar defenses are OP.
They're not. You want to talk OP? Let's talk bears.
Oh, I should have known they would come into the frame at some point in there. Now, does anyone have a... Oh, actually, we're still on the squirrels thing. See anything else we have? Because I was talking about the hunter buffs in U26.1, so that there may be some nerfs to the burglar coming up. So we'll have to hear about that. And we are talking about... Oh, yes. Now, they said Farmer's Fare is not condensing, and that means that they're not going to try to condense it down into something smaller that's going to be incorporated into another one. But as I noted earlier, they're not condensing the Farmer's Fare. They're just going to have the full Farmer's Fare simultaneous with the Summer's Fare. And I think that's enough. Just remember, though, that tomorrow, as of recording, is the last day of the VIP carry-all thing. Though I have a feeling that, most likely that you must already logged into it if you're a VIP, since then, if you're interested in getting this thing. Yes, one would hope so in there. Just remember that if you're a VIP who, for some reason, has not logged in since this VIP carry-all thing, since the 1st of May, make sure you choose a character that you would like to have this carry-all, or at least be on the same server as them, so that you could transfer it easily.
Yeah, and don't be on a creep.
And don't be on... Actually, I think they fixed that one.
They did fix it, but you know what? Don't do it anyway, so that they don't have to fix it.
Let's then head into the new player question, assuming anyone has a question this week.
I guess I can throw one out there that may be kind of easy, but not me in particular, but why do they only limit mounted combat to Rohan?
I kind of feel like they just didn't want to pursue it anymore myself. Because what really stinks nowadays is we have these war steeds with, 4,000 to 9,000 morale in these zones where if they get hit by side effects, area of effects from mobs, you're knocked off your horse. If you're not riding it, the medium horse has a skill where your steed's taking your hit points away for damage. But if you're on a heavy horse steed, because I need to trample things, you get knocked off all the time. So it's very frustrating.
Yes. Right, and it says that you can use your war steed skills, but your war steed doesn't stay alive long enough because they stopped leveling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if they're gonna, why don't they treat that like some of our allies in that you can actually, why is there a cap on the leveling? You can do more out of Rohan. Why not continue leveling your war steed as well?
They keep giving war steed experience for quests. Just ask anybody who's Arya a character. Almost every time you turn in a quest, it goes, the horses neigh and circle around your head for a while, which is pretty funny. But
Krister has a term for that. What was your term for that, Krister?
Oh no! It was horse grats. We for any Vallard character, instead of saying grats when they level, we say horse grats when the horse levels. But yeah, my whole thing with that was when I Vallard that character, I was like, nobody will know I'm Vallard, and then you're in a group and suddenly your horse levels
up,
like,
and everybody knows that you're Vallard.
Yeah.
Excuse my horse there. But with them still gaining horse experience, it seems like it should be possible to continue leveling your horse if they opened it up.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 30 levels difference. That our war steed should be having like 150,000 morale, at the very least.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, I kind of had wondered that, and I think
Yeah, I mean,
I'd heard somebody else ask
all
it too,
it
but
did was level the morale. It would be very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not asking for any new skills or traits or anything. Just put it on par with the environment it's currently.
Well, related to mounted combat and the war horses, the war steeds, do we have first age bridles and such for them? Can you make those, or find them, or buy them? Or do you only go up to like second age?
A tailor can make a first age bridle for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you are a tailor, you can make a first age bridle. It costs a first age symbol, and those can be pretty hard to come by sometimes. They're pretty expensive on the auction house most of the time. And so a lot of people don't, but you could. I don't know that it's that much better than the second age or the third age, but
it's in that case, it's not like our LIs, which you want a first age, LI rather than a second or a third because they're better.
You can't imbue it. You can't improve it very far. No matter how good you make your first age bridle, it's still a level 100 bridle. And so at level 130, it doesn't really matter anymore what you did with your bridle.
Mm-hmm.
You can not have a bridle, and you'll still have the same effect. Your war steed's not going to last. So,
yeah.
Well, there is. Well, even in Rohan, though, if you're a ranged character, you're sometimes better off not even using the war steed there.
Mm-hmm.
I would go further and say, even if you're not a ranged character, you're sometimes better off not on a war steed.
I mean, it's fun to do mounted combat. I think, at least when I'm not being rubber banded randomly off cliffs or into walls or trees.
She says, knowing full well that she dives off of them, like,
sometimes,
willingly.
Yeah. On purpose? Yeah.
It's when I don't go off on purpose that I am frustrated by it, especially if I have to then figure out how to get back up. But, most of the places where you can do mounted combat, you're not in danger of that, and I kind of enjoy like chasing the mobs around and trying to kill them. I don't really enjoy that then you have the whole landscape chasing you and you have to kill it too if you're on level. But like going back over level for mounted combat is kind of fun because your war steed still does basically the same damage that it did at level 100. So you can have some fights and not pull the whole landscape, and it's pretty fun. But I do wish they would scale the morale at least.
And I have heard a lot of people complaining about mounted combat and that, it's terrible and stuff like that.
No, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm not going to lie. It is. But still, I mean, it was meant to be a feature, and then it seems like, hey, here's a feature, and then they just kind of said, okay, now we're totally going to forget it even exists.
So I kind of wish that they would make it so you can use some of your skills in low-level areas too, like dash. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't do any damage to anything, so you're not going to aggro anything. And then you could go fast through the Shire, which would be even better than...
Because there is no fast, anything in the Shire.
No, you have to slow travel everywhere anyway if you take a Stable Master. But you could ride at 15 on your light war steed through the Shire, or it would be even better if you could ride at 16, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe starting at like level 5, and then they could teach us the actual combat skills when we first show up in Rohan. They'll be like, oh, look at this cool horse you have. Did you know you can do this other stuff with it too? And we'll be like, no, I just thought it went fast.
For those tuning in for the first time ever, since when is campaigning strongly for getting war steeds right out of...
Yeah, she has been for a long time.
That is the best part about...
You don't even really need the riding skill to use a war steed. Like journeyman or anything.
Well, you don't need like one of the journeyman or things, but I mean,
that's
they could
why
make
it won't happen.
Contingent on that. Like, if you have journeyman riding, you get a war steed immediately. I would be okay with this. They could introduce a new riding trait spec that, like, maybe only VIPs get, or master riding, or Rohan riding, or something like that.
Circus
cool.
riding.
No, it's like the best. It is the best part of creating a new character on Bull Roar, though. You get it at level 5, and it works beautifully. And I like it. I just wish I could do it on all the servers.
And there's a call out for war goats in the chat.
Really?
Oh, heck yeah. War goats, war pigs.
War cats.
You could have hobbits riding a variety of things. War badgers.
I mean, that would be cool too, but I feel like that would take more work on their part, and it would be pretty easy to just give us war steeds early. That's all.
We totally discussed battle cats as a playable race on the moors.
So if we're gonna have war somethings, I want war baby Moomuks for hobbits.
War baby Moomuks for hobbits.
Or, just like baby Moomuk steeds for hobbits. That'd be cool too.
2 Moomuks pulling the hobbit's pantry.
With the hobbit sitting inside eating. I like this.
That could totally be like one of the pets that you get like from the summer festival now, or from the wedding. 2 little baby Moomuks.
It goes super slow, but you get a snack on the way. And when you get off, like, you have this, like, aura around you of, like, awesomeness. I like this.
Oh, by the way, Travis in the chat says, if we're adding things to the moors, I want a Cargul.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
It wouldn't even have to be a playable race. They could do, like, a session play like they do with the trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlock Cargul play.
Unlock Cargul play. Oh, boy. That could make things quite interesting.
I want to be a Nazgûl.
A Nazgûl would be a bit much.
Baby Nazgûl.
I was thinking the same thing.
Isn't that what Cargul are, though?
Yes.
They're kind of baby Nazgûls?
Nazgûl, I think, is what we referred to them at one point.
Yeah. Because of Nazgûl was I think it might have been an episode title way back when.
It was an episode
Shout out to the Landerval music community, because that's where I got that idea. I've actually seen that performed at the pony stage before.
Baby Cargul?
Yeah, baby Nazgûl, and a hobbit was wearing the permanent Witch King outfit.
Oh my god!
The permanent, yeah,
It's too funny.
So
with
like
that,
baby
we'll head into our week.
Oh, go ahead.
With that, we'll head into our weekend Lotro. And Calabathian, what were you up to?
I went through several instances on my main that I could do solo, working on some deeds, of course. Some of them are like 12 and 24-man instances, raids and stuff, and I'm going to have to get my kin involved because I don't actually have anybody on level or above in this group that can help me there. So yeah, but in the process, I did at the Stone of Eric, at that instance as part of the deeding, and I've done it before, so whatever. But during that, I learned that Mordor has a Greyhound bus system.
What?
Yes. So during the instance, I'm just kind of doing my thing. We're getting into this fort. And Isildur basically says, what does he say? What does the Isildur say?
Driving to us?
No, he actually says something drives them, because he's talking about the orcs, that they're different and something drives them. And I just kind of paused when he said that, and I'm like a bus? They took a Greyhound from Mordor? I mean, something is driving them. So,
I don't think they meant in that way.
No, but that was just, I was like, something drives them. The Greyhound bus. That's what's driving them. So there was that. I got Celeborn caught up to his running companion in the epic quest line finally. So it's time to head south with the Rangers in Idwythe, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on my main, while I was running those, I attempted the Vile Maw solo, which is, I think, a 12-man instance. Well, she's a level 115 hunter. I was like, I actually asked everyone, I was like, is this good? Is this good? And everyone was like, yeah, you're a hunter, and just did it, And I tried it, and it didn't work, actually, really badly. And this is probably less to do with the situation of being a level 115 hunter in a 12-man instance in Moria, and more with my hunter, read me, possibly just being really sucky. So, Krister, how about you? How was your week?
Well, my kin were continuing to work through Runner Chant, and our DPS has kind of been the focus of improvement for us. So on the second boss this week, we managed to actually face the boss, which was great, and we haven't gotten to the point where we can phase the boss before the second daughter appears. But we got to the point where we phased the boss and the second daughter appeared at the same time. So we've got a little bit of work to do, and we think we can get through the second boss. So that's been really cool. Despite being defeated over and over again, we were in relatively good spirits by the end of it. But unfortunately, Incompa Krister had to make another appearance. And during one of the runs, I realized right after we got defeated that I accidentally had equipped a level 1 cosmetic shield as opposed to my actual shield, and I was the main tank. So, so that was bad.
You died, but you looked fabulous doing it.
Exactly. I looked good. But, yeah, style over substance on that particular poll. And then one of the cool things for me, because I'm obsessed, I think Terry and I share an obsession with cosmetics. I've seen a couple glitches with cosmetics over the years. Where there's one helmet that you could put on and then put a hooded cloak on, and suddenly you were bald and your helmet was floating 4 feet to your left at head level. But this one was really cool, where if I have a hooded cloak on, particular hooded cloaks, and this particular helmet, I have one where it just completely makes my head invisible. So I have this kind of bringer of the dead theme with Krister. He used to go out to Fornos to roleplay a ritual where he would bind a new ghost to him for his good ghost army. Because let's face it, we get a portrayal of the dead people being bad. Come on, only a small percentage of them are bad. Most of them are just regular Joes, right? So I go and get those guys. But anyways, it looks really cool with, of course, my Oathbreaker Herald and the empty suit of armor. And how about you, Cora? How was your week?
Well, I managed to get some more mounts for my stable. Yes, I just got the herbalism one a week ago, and now I have some that are kind of becoming rivals for what I want to ride. The Steed of Elisar's Host, which I got for completing the preparations for the Host of the West, that's like the crafting stuff, is a gorgeous horsey, I should say.
It's a gorgeous host.
I was looking at my notes and my brain just shorted out. My apologies. It's also a gorgeous host for my elves Tukas to ride around on. I don't know.
That's a good way to look at it.
The other one that I got actually came about for my second, I guess, highlight of the week. It was hard to pick highlights this week. I did a lot of fun things. But I helped my kin leader get fragments for the goat for the Shadowed King, the new Secret Stone quest, and experienced two things I hadn't before and got lots of titles with it. That was I almost completed Darnarbagud, which I'd only been in there once before for somebody helping me try to get my level 60 gear for Gwar. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I also ran the Rift, basically. It was not on level, of course, but I had never been in there, and it was amazing in there. And I love some of the titles I got, like Lady of Shattered Chains or Ruination of Thrang. That was a lot of fun. But that sort of led me to thinking, oh my god, now I'm going to have to go back there sometime because the new goat looks really cool. Later that week, Beldrick and I ended up doing the first stage of the Secret Stone quest, which is a prerequisite for what I will need when I get to the point where's a high enough level to handle the Howling Pit, and got the Goat of Erebor's Royal Guard, which is also absolutely gorgeous and also has blue on it. So, Krista, you'll appreciate that I spent a good deal of time making a couple of blue outfits to wear while I'm riding these two steeds.
Perfect.
I also discovered I can handle some things on my own this week, and that was one of those deals where I'm going back clearing out old deeds because I'm killing some time waiting for somebody to log in to run with. And I was in Western Gondor and saw Skulkmire. I don't have that one. I don't have the Great Bull either. And discovered that Gwere can now handle warbands in Western Gondor, at least, by herself. I'm very excited about that. Of course, that was the same day that Sans and I did some fun things, too. Sansuvinda, what did you get up to this week?
Well, this week, despite my internet crashing a lot, I started my second trip through the new dwarf quests with my minstrel. Well, it's my minstrel's first trip through, but my second trip through. And that was pretty cool. And I ran the Halls of Night with Gorindus, and my internet kicked me out halfway through, and we had to get me back in, but that was fun. And continued working on Minas Tirith quests on the field trip, trying to unlock the dailies and replicated ports. How was your week, Terry?
Well, I had thought that I had a light week, and then Calabathian reminded me of something, so I actually have 3. So I had sworn that I would never take Terry Edwin back to the moors, ever. But I had gone in with my burglar, and I had talked a couple of other people into coming with me, and we were just going to run around as some level-scaled characters. But we happened upon a guy who was looking for a group, and he didn't actually care about taking level-scaled characters. So we ended up in a group. It was actually most of a full raid, like 12. And after my burglar died about the 3rd or 4th time, because they figured out that she was an unranked level-scaled burglar and piled on her immediately every time she popped out of stealth, I said, you know what, I'm going to go get my champion. And I went and got Terry, and Terry ranked up to rank 3. Very proud of myself.
Nice work.
Yeah, it also led to passing judgment on some of the other Freep outfits, because, you know, as Krista mentioned, cosmetics are kind of my thing. So when one of the other champions was like, hey, do you like my outfit? I looked at it and I said, could do better. And then as we're waiting for the creeps to come back from the res, because we didn't bother going to chase them because we knew they'd be back, somebody had said something about it, and I'm like, well, yeah, cosmetics are kind of my thing. Yeah, I have a blog and everything. But yeah, it was fun. More fun than the first time I took her out, where she just kept dying horribly. And I think a lot of that was because we had the bigger group. So, note to self, yes, Freeps are overpowered, but you know what? There's a reason they travel in packs, because it's a lot of fun to do it that way. We were getting captain reses, and we were getting some mini reses. Captain reses are the best reses, though. They really are.
I
So
agree.
true.
Mm-hmm.
You res with, like, your full health, and you feel awesome, and you can go right back to smacking things. It's fantastic.
And you can res more than one person.
And they can res more than one person.
Mine come with a mint.
And then on the flip side, Terry Fluffs, my poor beleaguered warg, also was in the Moors, but having slightly less success, because wargs bite things and then they die horribly, and then they go back and they bite some more things. So, yeah, there was lots of biting of things and dying horribly and going back for more noms, because that's what you do until, I think she's now 15% of the way to rank 9. She'll get there, maybe, someday. And then...
it only took you, just a couple of years to get to rank, 8.
Well, part of that too was I wasn't playing regularly, and I'm playing more regularly now than I have in a long time. So there's that. But the other thing was, as part of helping Celeborn to get up to where Galabrilith was in the epic storyline, my lore master achieved her Mistress of Stairs title, running up and down the way to Nars.
Oh boy! Oh yes.
10 times up and 10 times down. Done.
How much was that on your Fitbit?
I was going to say, I did discover that as long as you just run down, I mean, if you have like, say, a hunter port to the campfire or something like that, it still counts. You don't actually have to ride up and down.
Yeah, it's a total of 20 trips. So you can do 10 up, 10 down, or you can do 20 down, or you can do however many. Yeah, some of them were kind of just down because, like that instance with Nar where he's being attacked by the Uruks, that takes you right to the top anyway, so then you have to run back down. But yeah, we did. It was fun because I'd already done the questing, so some of the stuff I could go with her or with Celeborn, and some of it is like, this is a session play. I'll just be over here doing this thing on my tablet while you take care of that.
A lot of session plays in that little stretch there.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's some session plays, and then there's the talkie solo instance. It was fun that the Nars Peak one is Fellowship, because we actually got to do that together, and then we did the trip away from Nars Peak, and then we did the Lied Ogo thing too, but we didn't actually bother doing the exploration. I'm like, okay, it's here. Here's the thing. And then, of course, that takes you back right to the gates of Lanuk when you're done, which is nice and convenient. So, and then the final one was potential spoiler again for people who haven't done it already. Candice dying.
The sadness.
Which is made even more sad by the really loud movie that follows it, which is all of Candice's memories, which...
Yes.
It was my third or fourth time through that stuff that I actually watched that movie, because typically they're so loud that I just escape out of them because I don't want to deafen myself. But yeah, I finally had the volume low enough that I could sit and watch it, and then I was like, why did I do that? This is very sad. So yeah, that was my week. Pine how about you?
Right. I'm going to begin with a little aside, and last time I was recording the other podcast, the one for Standing Stone's other game, we were reminiscing about, there was, Dracula had sent me a package, and apparently that was made by one of the listeners of DO Players News, and Drac was really excited for me to open this thing up, so I opened this thing up, and I found out that what was included that this fan of DDO Players News sent was a sleeping pig. This had to do with back a couple months ago when we were recording the episode of DDO Players News, and I forgot what it is that the DDO people get, but of course the thing that you got on the Lotro side that was its equivalent, that came out at the same time, was the sleeping pig. So okay, so DDO players got this, and Lotro players got a sleeping pig.
Sure.
Yeah. So therefore, that became the title of that episode, and the listener decided to send me a sleeping pig. So that's what I have on that. But let's go into my actual highlights within Lotro. And first off, I was questing in the new area, and when you're going along your trip and chasing a certain warband in there and trying to look for them, you have this campsite with glowing. And when you're there, I had finished up something there, then I had logged off. And then a later day, when I logged in and was finally active in there, I was being attacked by a moose. Now, it looks like, I think it started to attack just at the point I gained control of my character. I was wondering what's going on in there, because obviously there is this little time in which they threaten you, but it seemed like that I had popped in, it started threatening me, and of course I can't move yet because I didn't have control of my character yet, because I wasn't fully logged in, and then it attacked me just as I finished logging in. And fortunately, I managed to survive better than the girls did, since I was a level 130 character. But it's saying that, yes, those moves are most definitely ornery in the new area, so I'm hoping that the girls avoid bringing their low-level characters into that area. Then, on my Stout Axe, I finally made it into the Doomfold area, within sight of Mount Doom and all that stuff, and questing in that area, and you come to the quest where you encounter the Stout Axes. And alright, I must have been away for a number of years, because not a single person I have met yet recognizes me, and absolutely no one recognizes me even as a Stout Axe. I guess they just assume that I'm a Longbeard like Gimli. That's all I can say, because no one has recognized me as a Stout Axe yet. And I'm wondering, am I going to run into, because of course my reason for running this character was so I could see what changes in the text for the quest if you're running as a Stout Axe. So getting there, okay, is anyone going to recognize me? Now, I do have this mistress that they're all serving in there, and I did meet her once in the intro. Back in the intro, my character specifically in her, but of course, she's a Joe. No, she's way up there, high in the on the hierarchy up there, and we're just slowly slaves. So I'm betting she doesn't recognize me either. So
I've
So you
noticed
did
that
cause
actually
her
happens.
a lot of problems. You did cause her a lot of problems in the intro, though, and you had been singled out as one to go on a specific place. So,
well, that is a possibility that she might remember me after all, but it's been a few years, so we'll have to find out.
And who really keeps track of the slaves anyway?
Yeah.
And who expects one to still be alive who did something that crazy? So,
right, so it's a possibility that you won't recognize me. We'll have to see when I get to that part of the storyline.
I'm pretty sure that the people who let you escape, not that they really had a choice in the matter, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't actually tell her that they let you escape. I'm pretty sure that they said, no, he's dead. We killed him.
That is the most likely the case. Anyway, Travis, see, this is part of a bigger issue. They're not recognized as any of the races. When you get to them, you're from Rivendell as an elf, then you should change the text based on the race and location. Well, yes,
That's
location
Celeborn.
never has location, but with the Stout Axes are treated as a completely different race. And I know that when you're in the Mordor area, the the high elves, they do have different text from regular elves on some of the quests because
And
we
they're
were
recognized by the people who were there at the battle that they fainted in.
Right.
Or were knocked out of.
Most people might not care whether a high elf or a regular elf or anything like that. They might not even know what a high elf is. But when you're talking about but yes, the high elves themselves, they all recognize you.
Keeping in mind that I pointed out last week that there's an elf in Felagoth that mentions how nothing evil would pass the bounds of Lorien, and he's in Felagoth. So, maybe they're just confused.
They might just be confused. And, I mean, if you're a high elf, you get that racial port to go back to Lothlorien, but you show up there and everybody's like, who are you? No, you can't take our stable anywhere. No, you walked out the gate. Of course you can't come back in. So...
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's like, okay, you're telling me my elf, Celeborn, who grew up in Rivendell, goes back to Rivendell during the quest, and nobody even recognizes him?
Well, yeah.
I mean, they'll be like, it's nice to see you here. Did you travel a long way? But they're not like, oh, it's good to see you again. Or...
Yeah, I mean, there are just regular elves that have lived thousands of years and remember, like, oh, I remember when the big sunflowers were, all over this place, and now they're dead. They have this memory, and it's been like 1,000 years, but you can't remember me because I've been gone like 6 months.
Let's not talk about the sunflowers.
Then again, if we are going to use that, that's a bad thing because those elves couldn't even see the sunflowers literally all over the Shire.
Yeah,
they all need glasses. It's like, what do your elf eyes see? Apparently nothing.
They were so busy looking up at the stars, they didn't notice they were walking past rows of these flowers.
Then, during Friday Night Fights, we started out with the Battle of the Tower. This is now with the Capped group. We had a 6-player run of the Battle of the Tower. Then we decided to try the Halls of Lore. And rough instance, that's all I gotta say about that, is we eventually got to the one where you fight the memories, and let's just say that the third memory pretty much had us for lunch at least twice. So that didn't work out all that well. And we got through the first 2 memories, but the last memory was just brutal. So, yeah. So nothing there that we gain on there. But I did get to actually see what that particular instance is like. Now for news beyond Lotro, where we had a guest post by Seth C. Adams, who's the published writer for HarperCollins, and he wrote an article called Storytelling in the 21st Century, Thoughts from a Writer and Gamer. And he's talking about the influence of Tolkien on him during his lifetime, narrative and projected experience, and the future of storytelling. And the books that he's written are You Afraid of the Dark? And If You Go Down to the Woods. And we currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support Lotro players, you can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would prefer to send a one-time donation, you could send that to Drac through an email at drac@lotraplayers.com. And And we actually have an email this week from Roger Darkmore. And anyone wish to read this?
Terry, are you able to read it without going on a rant, or should I?
Somebody else needs to read this email.
Okay.
I can. Okay. Roger Darkmore writes, "Hello, Lotro Players Podcast. Hi. I am up to episode 70 of the Lotro Academy podcast. For reference, it's dated December 20th, 2012. I'm glad to hear the Academy kin and the field trip are still going. It's really amazing for a kin or guild in any game to last for so long. What, for each of you, is your favorite thing to do in Lotro?" So he asked us a question. Should we be interactive here? What is our favorite things to do in Lotro? The one big thing to face. Because his is to drink from the sinister keg. It usually leads to some sort of adventure, which I find entertaining. This last time I drank from the keg, I ended up in Angmar. This time, my level 33 Bjorning woke up pantsless in Terran Luig. Good luck pronouncing that. There was not a stable master there, so I decided to try to get to the closest one, all the way across the map in Ohio. I hopped on my horse and took off. Everything was going great. I was avoiding aggro, mostly, and outrunning things and not getting hit. Then I made a wrong turn into a goblin camp. We do that. It's okay, man. It's okay. It happens. We've all been there. Especially me, because I have no sense of direction. You can ask
Usually
anyone
not
who's run.
after waking up pantsless in Angmar, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a sinister keg to drink from either, so, you know. I got
We should
dismounted,
fix
but
that.
I kept running. Right into a dead end. Somehow I made it back out of the camp with 3 mobs in tow. Only 3? Ahead in my path were 2 of those bog guardian type mobs, so I decided to stop and fight. Luckily, the 3rd mob, a goblin I think, leashed and ran back. 2 level 44 Royal Crown something or others. I thought that said Crown Royal. I was fixing to go, oh, Lord help.
I was like, we're almost having a cola here or something.
Yeah. 2 level 44 Royal Crown something or others, I think, started wailing on me. One was melee, the other ranged. I still can't believe I killed them both instead of instantly dying. I think the bee swarm skill was the only thing doing damage because it took a while to kill them. Between that and the Bjorning heal, I still have yet to die on this tune. After that little encounter, I made it the rest of the way to Ohio with little trouble and got the stable master there. Is the game more forgiving at lower levels, or are Bjornings just OP? Anyway, thank you for doing the podcast. I look forward to it every week. In good cheer, Roger.
Before Terry jumps on this, I can verify that Bjornings are just OP. The game's not really that forgiving if you get caught on a different character most of the time. At least not for me.
Yeah,
But
there is a reason why I refer to this race class combo as overpowered furballs. Because they're really ridiculously overpowered.
But what of all the things they can't do in bear form? I can't pick up a book in bear form.
Good!
I can't.
Good! You shouldn't be in bear form!
You
I
hurt my
don't know
bear
that
feelings.
you can even properly read in bear form, can you?
what
Some
I
of
think
them
is
are-
weird is when you can't follow a trail in bear form.
Yeah,
Because I'm pretty
some
sure
of
your
them are
nose should have been better than anybody else's vision at that point.
Well, I think it's amusing that you can talk to a stable master, but he won't sell you a ride.
Right. Yeah, we think a perfect bout for Bjorning in bear form would be a chariot. You have a horse-drawn chariot that you're riding.
Oh, there is one thing that Bjornings can do that they really shouldn't.
Oh, yeah,
Wield
we
pickaxe.
discovered during the treasure hunt event that bears can do the finding of treasure. They can
Yeah.
wield a pickaxe in bear form.
Oh, that's strange.
You can craft in bear form too, so that's pretty bizarre looking.
Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, what for each of us is our favorite thing to do in Lotro? Other than not play a bear in Terry's case.
Dress up virtual dolls.
Yeah.
I like playing dress up.
Sans, how about you?
My first thought is jumping down a well. On lower level characters, it's always fun to drink from a keg, but then you get to a level where, at which point, you drink from it and you go someplace and you're like, really here? Couldn't you have sent me someplace interesting and exciting? Like, these mobs are all gray. Why did I even do this? But jumping down the well is always entertaining, especially if there's some place that you can get to from jumping down the well. That's fun. You have to be in Moria, though, which isn't necessarily the most fun. So maybe just jumping off of things to see if I can get someplace faster.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, in the new area, you're gonna love jumping off those waterfalls.
I keep seeing them, and I keep wanting to jump off them, and then I keep trying to calculate, like, okay, I don't know where the res circle is, and I don't know where the next objective is. Is this going to be super dumb or not? And after the hard time we gave Pine Leaf about taking off the off-road route and dying, I keep figuring that maybe I should stay with my friends, but I am totally going to jump off those waterfalls. They totally look like the perfect
they're there for
thing.
a reason.
But the waterfalls look so cool. And who knows, there might be a secret title somewhere. You just have to jump off everywhere, just in case. Every so often there is one. Thing?
That doesn't just apply to in-game either. I mean, you just got to jump off everything.
I mean, maybe not really in real life, because I'm much more breakable, and broken legs don't heal in like a minute. But, yeah, in-game, that's totally fun.
So, Gwai, what about you? What's your favorite thing?
I like killing things like trolls and Moomax and hearing the great big boom when they fall.
Hit the ground? Yeah, that's
and
pretty sweet.
You didn't say that one too, Sans. But
I love that too.
And Pine, how about you?
You really have to ask.
Well, just in case it's changed in recent years.
Well, I think skirmishes are still at the top of the list.
Oh, here at Pine Leaf, I was thinking it was probably epic battles.
Right.
Especially at level 10.
But I could see like tier 5 skirmishes with 4 people.
Well, first off, there aren't such thing as tier 5 skirmishes.
Rats.
Yet.
Well, most likely, period, seeing how they haven't done anything significant in skirmishes for a while. I mean, the only major thing they've done in skirmishes over the last few years was to add a special event where you have these overpowered harbingers, which are not my favorite thing related to skirmishes. and then, of course, adding the NPC that's in the skirmish camps during the event. I'm so Cousin Netta. But anyone else that hasn't gone yet?
Yeah, I was about to say, I guess me. But I like collecting all the little shiny things and exploring the game world too. The nice little, like, some of the clothing, and then some of the horses have, like, I don't know, they're almost like the mother of pearl effect, where they just kind of shimmer with the rainbow colors. And that's just, I'm a sucker for that. I'm just like, ooh, take my money. So I like that, but I also like I'm finding this more and more when I'm actually running around, usually when I'm solo or whatever, but I'm running around in some of these places, and there's just, I don't know what it is. It's just the right time of day in game, and the lighting is just right, and I'm in the right position, and suddenly I'm like, print screen, let's screen cap, because it's so pretty. And I like it when I find these new places that, I haven't seen, but they're like really, really gorgeous, because I'm like, ooh, I like pretty things. What can I say? But that's me. And who else was there? Was there anybody else?
I think that's everybody.
Okay.
Very well. And I think we've already given our opinions relating to how powerful bears are.
Yeah.
Whoopie fur balls.
Yes.
Well balanced.
If you would also like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotra Players @LotraPlayers, Arendis @Arendis, Panleaf @Panleaf Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, Terry Edwin @Terry Guarendis @Netashell, and Calabathian @Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 3 shows. On Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotra Players News. And you can follow at XP Quest on Twitter to find out when they have their shows because their timing is not consistent. And you can join us for our shows at LotraPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Panleaf Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.